Yeah, sure. Help yourself. Some tree cover.
Dad, there's no more candy left.
What? There's no more candy left? This is a job for Chef Dad.
Really, Dada?
I guess you're right. But I'll still make you some candy.
Yay!
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Hungry Henders. I'm Nick, and with me as always is my camera person extraordinaire, Stella.
Hi!
Today, I'm so excited, we're going to be making homemade old-fashioned candy.
I love candy.
Old-fashioned hard candy is made by the process of caramelization. Candy making is simply taking sugar, like sucrose, and heating it up. So the more you heat it up, you see, the higher the temperature gets, and it undergoes some crazy changes. The lower the temperatures that you cook the sugar at, the softer the candy gets. It's kind of like gummy then, but the longer and the harder you cook it, the tastier it gets. Today, we're going to bring our sugar up to the hard crack stage, resulting in a really nice hard candy. I gotta warn you guys, you see, cooking sugar can be super dangerous because, you see, candy making, it gets super hot. In fact, the temperatures we're going to cook the sugar today is going to get up to 160 degrees Celsius or 320 degrees Fahrenheit. That's actually hotter than boiling water. Chefs occasionally refer to this stuff, hot sugar, as napalm, but even for good reason, because at the highest temperatures, it will burn you unforgivably. So remember, you take care.
Okay, our first ingredient is going to be some white sugar. We're going to be using this regular table sugar, the white you would use for tea or coffee. Next up, we have some corn syrup. Corn syrup is a type of sugar called glucose in it, and this will help prevent crystallization. We're also going to need some water to mix it all together. We're using the wet method, and this way it will prevent burning. To flavor our candy, we're going to need some flavoring. I have some proper peach flavored candy flavoring. This stuff is delicious. Moving on, we have some dyes, food coloring. We have some red and yellow food coloring. Give it a nice orange color. Finally, some icing sugar to keep it from sticking.
All right, well, to make candy, we're going to need some equipment. The first and most basic piece of equipment we're going to need is a good heavy bottom sauce pot like this. You want to have something that has a good heavy bottom because this will help keep the even heat when cooking the sugar and limit the hot spots that could burn it. Next thing we're going to need to do is have something to control the temperature, and to do this we need to have good temperature reading. This is a candy thermometer. This though has the advantage of staying into the hot sugar and giving us a real-time temperature. It is both in Fahrenheit and Celsius, and conveniently, on the case, it actually has the temperatures for all the temperatures for candy making written on the side. We're going to need a pastry brush. This is to wet down the sides of the pot to make sure there's no stray sugar crystals that can cause crystallization. When we're all done making our product, we're going to need a spoon to stir it in the flavoring and in the coloring, and some parchment paper to lay on the table in order to help us to make the candy a little bit easier. It's not so sticky either. Once the candy is shaped and formed, we're going to use our cutting board and our knife to cut it. And that's the equipment. Well, how about you put together ingredients for us? First thing we're going to need is a couple cups of sugar.
Sugar. Best.
Now we're going to need a good squirt of glucose.
What do you mean by a good squirt?
Oh, just turn it upside down and get as much of that as you can. There we go. That's good. So only about a couple tablespoons into the thing. That's good.
It's
All
like
right.
molasses. White molasses. Clear molasses.
And now some water,
I have like a half cup of water.
and turn it to make it look like wet sand.
It does look like wet sand. See?
All right. And now we're going to get that onto the stove.
Great.
Okay. Now that we have it on, reduce the heat. We'll now slowly put in our thermometer, like so. As you can see, our sugar is getting hot. It's now hotter than boiling water at this point.
Yeah.
It's 250 degrees. We need to get it to 320 or 160 degrees for the level that are going to be needed for making hard cracked sugar.
Almost there.
It's about, the candy is now about 300 degrees. Do you see that, Stella?
Wow.
It's coaxing up. Okay, now we have to be careful. So now that it's coaxing up to 300 degrees, we're going to now remove our candy thermometer, lay it over to cool. Okay? We're going to turn the heat down. There's enough heat in this pan to carry over the cooking. It's called carryover cooking because it doesn't need direct heat for it. The color of the candy now is a nice sort of yellowish color. Do you see that, guys? You see how yellow it's gotten? Okay, right, we gotta be very careful. This is so hot. It just came off the stove, it's super hot. Okay, we're using an oven mitt. Now, Stella, would you like to pour in the drops of dye?
Okay. I'm gonna put like 1 drop of red and like a lot of drops of yellow. Because yellow is not very strong. 1, maybe 2. Yeah, that's good. Drops of red.
You need to be careful doing this. Just notice that Stella pulls her hand away right away because the steam can cause it to come up.
Have red all the way down. And a whole bunch of yellow. Because it's like peach is like a.
We also have our flavoring.
I need to add a drop, like barely any.
Yeah, this stuff is really, this is actual proper candy
You might
flavoring.
have candy flavoring, like I'll go get some. You might have candy flavoring. It's not candy flavoring, it's flavoring for any other thing. I have some mint here, but it comes in this big bottle, or you might have it in a different packaging, but it's like mint this one, but you need to add like half the bottle to actually flavor your candy like this. So yeah, you need
This doesn't require.
this is very little because you need to add like that much to flavor the candy. It's very little.
Okay, it smells wonderful right now. It smells like peach. We're going to take our metal spoon now and very
You're gonna
carefully,
need the oven mitt. That smells awesome.
I'm going to now stir in the color and the flavoring.
It's really steamy.
Do you see how hot that is?
Oh, don't get the smoke. Don't nick the spoon with this, guys.
And now we're going to go ahead and pour the hot sugar over our parchment paper onto our countertop. It's a beautiful color, Stella.
It's a golden color. And you don't have to add flavoring and color. You can just make it any other color. That's gonna
Excellent.
go on the table.
Let's get be careful. Remember, this is super hot. So we're going to allow that to cool a little bit. Now, if you had some oven-proof, some heat-proof gloves here you could use, it would probably be really terrific. I don't actually have a set, but I'm pretty used to making this. This goes right into the sink to cool off. What we're going to do is slowly, you know how hot that is. That was the steam.
Oh gosh.
We're going to slowly pour the candy over itself like this on the parchment paper to get never ever actually touching candy. Eventually, when it gets cool enough, we can actually mold it. People who do this professionally have heat lamps to actually keep the candy at a nice warm temperature to help mold it. But we're just home cooks having a little fun. We don't actually own any of those things.
It takes a little time and patience.
Yeah, it takes a little time to cool down. All right, you can see now it's cool enough where I can actually handle it now.
Very briefly.
Very briefly, but it's still super hot.
Can I try one? Okay.
Super hot, isn't it? Yeah, there you go. Good job.
Not barely. got it.
Okay.
Now, it might get a bit loud when Dad is chopping it, but...
So now you can see now this is still super hot. It's still too hot to handle. I can barely touch it. It's cooling down quickly. Every time I touch it, it cools a little faster. So you can still mold it at this point.
Ow. This is really hot.
It's super hot.
I can smell, like, burning.
Yep. Squish it out and stretch it out into a nice, like, gigantic worm. It's super hot, so try touching it.
Gosh.
Can barely hold on to it.
Very long. I'm working on this end. It's still very hot, so. Ow.
Oh, it's super hot. Be careful.
I can't squish it.
Okay. Now that we have it in this gigantic long worm, oh, it's cooling too quickly now. It's getting really, really cold all of a sudden.
Hot. Oh no! Ah!
Okay, we need to get our cutting board and knife over quickly now. We have
These
it
are
that
gonna
quickly.
be really big. Way bigger than normal.
Let's get. We're not quite done yet. We're gonna get it over and we're gonna stretch it this way.
Stretch it.
A little bit. Stretch the
It's not
candy.
stretching.
Making sure that it's. All right, here we go. A nice long,
It's rolling
gigantic
on my
snake.
back.
All right, Stella.
Okay, bigger.
Here we go. I'm going on this end. You grab the icing sugar.
Icing sugar.
We're going to position this like this. I have the end of the sugar right here. As it's cooling, it's going to get harder and harder for us to cut this. So I'm going to stretch it and pull it as I'm cutting it.
Really quickly cut it.
We're going to
The
put
end, that
icing
end
sugar.
over there.
We're going to put icing sugar into it, so I can still cut it at this point into small, little bite-sized pieces like
Go
this.
quickly.
And Stella's going to coat them into some icing sugar.
Just gonna make a pile of icing sugar.
Yep.
Just stuff them all in it. Stick them. Go. This might be a bit loud, so. Quickly! You're cutting them very small. They're hot. They're like hot potatoes. Mini hot potatoes. Okay. More sugar. Okay.
Oh, the last ones are even harder to cut. There we go. And the last few pieces, like so. Okay. Now Stella is coating them in icing sugar, and this will prevent them from sticking to one another. And that's it. Now they're fully cooled.
My ears hurt from that.
Hey everyone. Well, after that very exciting candy making, I've got Arthur here with me, and of course Stella, and we're gonna try our candies. So dig in, guys. Tell me what you think of our homemade candies.
Yeah, we're gonna take some.
They're really warm. I love warm candy.
I'm not a big fan of warm candy. Oh my gosh, that's hot.
We'll put them in at the same time. 3, 2, 1.
A little bit sugar, not bad. A little bit.
A little bit of sugar?
No.
Holy sugar!
I have the chirp.
How does it taste? Does it taste like?
It tastes like, this is delicious. It tastes like peach candy.
Well, it is peach candy, so yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I'm glad you guys like candy.
It's good.
Terrific.
Much better.
Much better than having no candy like before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, so ends our video. Thank you very much for watching the candy episode of Hungry Henders. I'm Nick.
Hungry Henders.
This is Stella, Arthur, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to our videos. It really helps out. It really means a lot to us, especially if you're enjoying them. Cheers, guys. Thank you.